Resume the recording. Okay. Sorry about that. Recordings reviewed. Okay, so like I was saying, yeah, technically I don't need a bracket for that either, but let's say if I was gonna do this, print line, I could say, I know I could have did it in one line, but just to show you, like, that's why these two are valid. If you're just using one item here, you're doing one thing, you don't need brackets. But if you're doing more than one thing, you need brackets. So let's show what happens here. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that's 9. That's why it's good to check your code. Let's see if this will work, because I thought it would go over the array. Well, something did happen, all right. Oh yeah, now I know what I'm doing. I assigned the value up here. Oh, and I assigned it 1 there too. That overwrites it. Of course, that doesn't matter. I can comment that out. This assigns the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But then it resets to 0. Well, it's less than. No, it's less than 10. I set I to 0. And now I'm printing I. This is interesting. The first value is 0, of course. This isn't the expected results that I wanted, though. 9t equals I. Okay, I'm going to add the brackets there, even though that was legit. I want to see if it affects the program. And it doesn't. Okay, just making sure. Sorry. Oh yeah, because I'm assigning value, of course. That's why. Here we go. There you go. And 0's in there because, yes, 0 is the first value in the array. So here we go, because I'm assigning value 10, and now I'm putting it in. But 9's the value, and 0 is the first in the array. So let's say if I wanted to actually print the value of 10, do that. Still doesn't. Because it starts with there, and of course that would be the, yeah, that doesn't make any sense for me to think that way. 0 is the first value, 1's technically the second value. Of course, I guess I could do a +1. If I did that, it would actually correct it, I'm sure. Let's see that. Yep, that corrects it. Because I0, you just add 1 to it. That's how you can make the values appear as it's supposed to. But yeah, because remember in arrays always start with 0, and then they count up. So technically it's array. To access that last value, you would say, you would have to print it like this. If you were just going to access it with O of n, which means you're just accessing it directly. So that should print the value of 10 if you say array and you put 9 inside the bracket. So the only thing I'm going to comment out is that, the loop part. So let's see if that works or if I'm wrong. Yep. So 9's at the end of the array because it's 0 to 9, which is really in a 10 array. So that's your single array value right there. That's how you work with a one-dimensional array. Now work with a two-dimensional array, it's different, but not that much different, because if you're going to work with a two-dimensional array, it requires you to understand how to do a nested for loop. So I'd say int I, I'm gonna say equals 0. Basically, it's the same that I did before. Then you would say I is less than 10, and then you can add I every time it goes through. When it equals 10, of course, you could say, yeah, I is less than 10. So loop. But when it equals, it'll break the loop. So I'll loop through this array at least one time. So when you're doing an array like this, I'll just loop it. You need a nested loop. And when you're doing that, you need to have like a different variable. I'm going to say B. We don't say 10, I forget it, because remember we did an array of 5 to 5 in this matrix C. So 5, 5, and then you have to plus 2. We're doing that because you need two different variables. Now, how this loop actually works. This is how it works. The first loop will loop one time, the first iteration. Then you'll jump into your second loop. This loop will go 5 times through this matrix. So pretty much it'll be the first value will be array 0, 0, and it'll loop through all the variables in the second one to this 5. So it'll be like 1, then this will turn to 2, then turn to 3 to 4, and then 5. But you know, in loops and programming, it's really 0 to 4, which equals this. So once it equals 4, then this number will change to 1. This I controls this, so it will change to 1. And then I'll keep doing that until all values are filled. So how do you do that? You would say array. You make the first one I, and make it B. And then I'm going to say I want the values to equal the values of B within here. Okay, it's complaining. That's interesting. It says array must be int. Array type int. That is array type int. And these are both ints. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm not sure why it's complaining about that. The type expression must be an array type, but it resolved the int type. Very interesting. I would have thought that would have worked like this, but it's not. Well, my explanation is clear, but for some reason Java won't let me do that. Let me see. If I do this, then it'll be the opposite of what I just explained, though. If I did that, and it's supposed to equal the value of B. Of course, well, I don't have a whole lot of time here. Okay, this is why Google's your friend. I'm gonna Google this to see. Or I could Google the problem that it's complaining about. It's saying the type expression must be array type, but it's resolved to int. Let's do that. All right, guys, I figured out what the problem was. My internet connection dropped, but problem was I was using array and not my matrix C. So anyway, like I was saying, this should do it. So a loop here once, count once, and then a loop here 5 times. Then this will increase again, and then a loop there 5 more times until this matrix is filled up. Let's see if I don't crash the program. Doesn't look like I crashed it. So okay, so I did that. Let's print it. Let's print the value. And it's not going to be neat because I need to get going to work soon. So, to print this, I'm going to say system out print line, and I'm going to print the value instead of like inserting it. And this should work if I've done it right. We'll see. Yeah, it does work. It's not very neat, but I'm not sure if you can see it down here, but it's pretty much printing 1 through 5 within this matrix C as many times as it will fit in this matrix C. So this should be the first one, this will be the second one, this will be the third one, that'd be the fourth one, and that'd be the fifth one. So it's a 5 by 5 matrix C. And that's exactly how you would deal with this with multidimensional arrays. Multidimensional arrays can put objects, you can put class objects in here if you were to define this as a class object instead of int, or other type of data types like floats and doubles or whatnot. So you're not limited to just integers. You can do so many things with arrays. Although most likely you would want to be using like a vector or an array list, that's called in Java. And I suppose I'll be going over that as soon as I get back, maybe, or maybe not as soon as I get back, but as soon as possible. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, comment if you like or don't, doesn't matter. I'm doing this mainly as documentaries and basically just getting a web presence because I'm in school right now and trying to become a professional software developer. Thank you for watching my video. Next time, I guess I'll go over array lists and then we'll get into classes and I'll clear up some things on methods. Bye.